Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you guys become better traders. All right, so basically everything is falling off. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming. We were positioned for it, and here it is. The S&P 500 is off as of right now, 19.0%. That's just 1% shy of being able to be classified a bear market. Bitcoin is off a little more than that. Now, forever we've had a target of 26K. Essentially, that is the top end of the biggest gap on the CME chart. That is why we have had that as a target. And there are a few other things. I was very unprepared for this, so let me go ahead and pull up the glass node, so that way I can get that situated and logged in, because we will be talking about a few things on that. So just bear with me. Uno momento, por favor. And I'll just go ahead and pull it over here. All right, but back to the chart. So yeah, I mean, I kind of expected a pullback yesterday. We had a pretty big down day. You can see today's downsized candle, even though it is starting to find a little bit of a bounce here, which is, it's okay, because we were kind of expecting a bounce before this. When we broke down, I was kind of assuming that once we started with this bullish day, that we would probably go on back up and fill the downside gap that we now have on the CME chart. So let me go pull up the CME chart. Let me see, where are you, CME? Where are you? Nowhere to be found. So let's go to the watch list. Here we go. So we have a new gap here at 35 and up to 35 or 34,450 up to 35,180. So when we put in this bullish candle, I was kind of like just looking for a 3 or 4 day pullback. Nothing major, just small bullish candles, slowly trying to push back up to fill this gap. Now, one thing that I want to make very clear is we don't trade or chase gaps, all right, because they don't have to fill. On multiple stocks, you've got Amazon, Apple, the SPY, that all have gaps that are way, way under current price, that more than likely, barring a crash in the entire of the, a massive crash, those gaps are never going to get filled, because they are so far away. But on the CME chart, we've looked at every single candlestick that is on this thing, and these were the only two gaps. You have another one right here. It's a small one right under the old all-time high of 19.8. So, I mean, this wasn't my target. The top one was, because it was an absolute perfect measured move from the original down impulse. Once you had the 3-month correction and then impulse, that put a perfect measured move, basically what you see on the thumbnail. So that's why we had that target. So basically, now that that target has been hit, we're going to be looking for this thing to get a bounce. Maybe, maybe not. Let's go over here to the Glassnode charts, because a lot of people are wondering, when do we become buyers again? If you are new to the channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. This is called the MVRVZ score. This lets you know, it's a metric that basically shows you when typically or historically Bitcoin has been either undervalued, which is the green area, versus overvalued, which is the red area. And in Bitcoin's entire history, when you've been trading inside of this green zone, that has been a typical good place to start to look to basically buy into the asset. We did hit overvalued on the first push. This is your price line chart up here. So you can see when you pushed up to the first time making new all-time highs, we did hit this overvalued region. Then when we had the first 50% fall, that price bottomed out based on the B Word podcast, plus news of a new futures ETF. All right, so that's what throttled this thing on up to liquidate the swing high, the all-time high, that is. So basically, now what we're waiting on is we're waiting for this orange line to push down into this, undervalued area. So we still got some time to go. it might be a little bit lower now because I am a day lagging on this indicator. So we'll see what happens. It does look like it is getting a new push. But yeah, that's what we're waiting on. So we're not going to buy it on the first test of it, because if I scroll back out to where I just was, you're going to see that when we hit the $3,000 area, it was in this region from November 2018 all the way until, what is that, May, April? So several months you were inside of this. So maybe if it wants to get a lot more bearish momentum and it pushes down to the bottom of it even, maybe then we'll start to put on some spot. I mean, I will. But we are looking at other macro things right now. There's a couple guys out there that think that we are just getting started on this bear market. And if that's the case, then to have a low-end target is going to be damn near impossible. So we'll see how much pain the Fed allows the markets to take before they either A, become dovish again, or B, completely stop hiking interest rates. Yesterday's CPI print was expected to be an 8.1, which is lower than last month's 8.5 read. However, it did not hit expectations. It came in at 8.3. Now, that is a miss as far as expectations are concerned. However, it's still good news because the CPI print has potentially topped out. And, that's good. I don't know if it bounces up and down like a price chart or nothing. And maybe this is just a small little stutter step before it starts to trend higher again. But trending lower is what we want that CPI number to do in order to become bullish on these markets again. Now, on the SPX, when you start trending, once you get below 20%, a lot of people, that starts to look attractive to them. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But you can definitely see if I bring this line over here to the top end of this lower gap, you have wicked down into the gap. Now, you have not filled it all the way, but you have almost filled it all the way. I would call that a midpoint check of the gap, if you will. And keep in mind, please, before you start getting super uber bullish right here, that there is another gap starting at $19,000. All right, it's right there. So you got to just keep that on your mind. 19,270. So this is a pretty big move already. So let's see if it wants to bounce around, find some support, maybe potentially put in that move to the upside. So now that we have hit my downside target, I am going to collapse the short position and look to re-enter the short position on a 35,400 test if we find resistance there. All right, I'm not going to get short if we don't find resistance up here. So what I'm waiting on, this is going to take days probably. So just please be patient with me, as I only take trades when I have high probable setups. As of right now, catching a falling knife, not high probable setup. All right, so let's go over here to the one asset that everybody's talking about, simply because millions of people have basically lost their entire investment. If they were long in Luna with leverage, then they have lost more than their entire investment. Now, yesterday when we were bouncing around the 75-cent region, I took on a piece and I was basically telling my members to please do not take this with leverage, simply because if you just buy the spot price, spend $100 or something, if you think it can recover, it's 99% off. That's typically not a good sign for any asset to lose 99% of its value. But it was worth it to me. It was worth the 89% loss of the entire position that I took yesterday, just to see if the company, Terra, is able to, get control of it. And obviously they have not. You are looking at 0.03. That's 3 pennies. This thing was trading at $100 just a couple weeks ago, and now you're down there. So as far as buying it, I don't think there's any need. Obviously, algorithm pegged stable coins have failed already. There's been 2 of them that have tried the algo stable peg, and they both collapsed and fell. Luna tried it. Luna was doing very good. It was the most bullish asset inside of the crypto market since the bear market started back in November. If you want to say the bear market actually started in April for Bitcoin, I think that's a fair assessment. Because looking at the Glassnode chart, you can see this first original swing high was an overvalued area on this MVRVZ score. The second new all-time high wasn't. It never even come close to hitting that overvalued region. This, I guess you could call that divergence. This divergence on this thing right here is one of the reasons what led many, many Uber bulls to think that Bitcoin was going to run up into those $250,000, $400,000 targets. They just were, it's easy to get caught up in the FOMO and all the stuff that's going on. Your emotions get wild. You've been nailing good calls for months and months. A lot of people made a lot of money on this run up, but nailing the top is what you need to do. We nailed the top over here. A lot of people didn't believe it, but here we are. So yeah, downside target's been hit. There's really nothing else for me to say other than watch that $19,000 gap. I mean, you can be testing that next, but we are looking for a bounce for that top side gap to be filled, and we'll play that accordingly. But we need a daily support put in, and then we need to see that support get tested with a bullish pop. All right, so let's go talk about why I decided to buy this. It was purely nothing more than just a technical reason. There was a weekly support right around this region as well. But when an asset is basically getting sold off so aggressively like that because it has failed, then technical analysis goes right out the window. This one was 100% a gamble, and I let everybody understand that fact. As of right now, I cannot exit the position. Now, the position is a very small amount of money, right? It wasn't nothing big, not for me, because it's a pure gamble. It's almost like wiping your butt with $100 bills. That's what kind of play it was. I grabbed a wad of cash. I was like, yeah, I can look at this. I could burn this, so let's see what happens. And now 89% of that is gone, which is okay. You know what I mean? It was just a bounce play. And it did get up to 600%. It was in the money 600%. So basically the technical reason was I was watching that weekly support, and then we got this biggest bullish bounce that we got since the move lower. And I was like, you know what? I'll watch supply here, or demand. A 5-minute demand isn't typically going to hold that great, but it did. It held absolutely flawlessly, and then boom, straight up. When we were up in here, this was 600% of a victory. So yeah, now we're down here. So if you bought this with leverage, your problem is simple. If I can't exit my position with just spot, it's going to be even harder for you to exit your position with leverage. Now, typically, what will happen is they will liquidate your position. All right, they can liquidate your position even though you can't exit. The brokerage or the exchange itself has that magical power to basically, exit you whenever they feel necessary. Now, whether they liquidate you at a total loss or whether they liquidate you at, well, now you have a total loss plus you owe the exchange $1.5 million, it's their discretion. And you signed up for this. Trading is a very dangerous and very risky proposition. You need to know what you are doing and not get caught up in that FOMO, right? Because that's what's killing people. So people right now are probably hammering that sell button, and they cannot get out of their position. I don't care because my position does not have any leverage on it. So once this thing hits zero, my position will be liquidated automatically. All right? So that's it. There are a few YouTubers that have discussed, let me see if I can do this real quick, that have discussed the reason as to why this thing has crashed. But I'll go ahead and show you one that I trust. He is a trusted source for me. His name is CoffeeZilla. Luna is crashing. Here is why. Excuse me. So if you want to go give that a watch, if you want to know why Luna is crashing, go give him a watch, check him out, check his channel out. He's really good. I like him, you know what I mean? And he's a really trusted source, in my opinion. So yeah, you guys got to be careful out there when taking these trades, especially when you're playing with leverage, because when you add leverage, you can lose more than your investment. More. And nobody wants to lose more than their entire investment. But it is possible, because leverage is essentially a loan from the exchange. And they're not like a bank. They're not going to let you make a payment plan to get out of debt. They want you to pay it today. All right, so let's get on with this. All right, enough of the rant. We took out the 2021 yearly opening range, as well as that yearly low. Now, why is the 2021 candle so important? For me, it is the top, okay? It is the top. That's why. So here on the yearly, you have put in a topping formation. You have essentially made this bullish candle a bull trap, essentially, on the chart. Now, it is possible for it to find support, and unfortunately, on the yearly chart, you don't have a yearly support until 13,863. Now, I'm not calling 13,863. I'm just simply pointing this out to you, that this is a technical level that price respected once before. All right, once before. As a matter of fact, this line is the original Heath level. It is the original line. This is the line that people started calling the Heath level. And it was just this support or resistance. So once we got above that, we started closing dailies above that. You know, it looked really good for Bitcoin until we got to all-time highs and then above. It was fantastic. It doesn't look like much on the log chart, but if I take log off, you can see that, yeah, you've lost half of your value on Bitcoin. That is never a good sign. Let's just go ahead and see what we got for sure. Get an absolute positive reading on that. 63.28%. 63% off. All right. Now, if you remember my 4-year market cycle model picture, this white line would be that ultimate bearish target. And I believe that would be close to an 80% fall. It's 79.57%. Because typically Bitcoin in its past, every time it has had a bull market cycle, its bear market phase went like 80% off. So we can use what happened in the past to get a guide, if you will, of what to do in the future. But obviously, past performance is never indicative of future results. But we are well off that low down there. And you can see where 13,863 is in relation to price off log scale. On log scale, it's much deeper, right? Much further away. But off log scale, hell, I mean, 4 or 5 more daily candles that we've seen today, you'll be there. Okay? So don't think that it's impossible to get there. 5 or 6 more of these little babies right here, and you will be there. So please be careful. Now, if looking for a bounce here, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for a bullish close, like this one here. That's not going to be our buy signal. We're going to wait for that. Because what that essentially does is it cements the previous day as support. That's how this strategy works. Now you can see when we broke down below this support here today or yesterday, this opened at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 8 o'clock yesterday, we got a bounce up to old support, and you've gotten a push lower. So it's not me saying this. This is how price action or technical traders do this. This is how it's done, right? They are not objective price points. These are not subjective, they are objective levels. And that's how we base our trades upon. So you can see that would have been a perfect short opportunity for a day trade, but it is getting long in the tooth as far as looking for short side sets. So be very careful. All right. So what we'll do is we'll wait for the same scenario, wait for a bullish closing day to cement that previous day as support. Then we'll watch the next day or the day after, whichever day it does go down and test that support. Because on the hourly chart, this is what it looks like, right? So this is the close, boom. That is your support. That's when you cemented that as daily support, right? Then you got the bullish bounce, the bullish close, right? And then now here you are. So this candle right here breaking down was pretty, significant, letting you know that there's probably going to be more downside. So that's what we're going to wait on here. So we want to see similar price action sideways, bouncing around. Maybe this holds as resistance. Then you go back down. Then you test that support that will be formed here. If that level holds, then that's where we're going to look to get long, and we're going to trade it up to the gap fill only. That will be the maximum end of that bullish target. But if you want to buy it because it's cheap, you can do that. Just make sure you do it with an amount of money you do not care to lose. I don't think Bitcoin's going to zero. I don't think any of the other cryptocurrencies are going to zero. Luna's going to zero for a reason, right? It's going to zero for a reason. It was a flawed system that has been busted. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. That's the only play on Bitcoin. If you choose to get long here, please do it with spot only. Don't use leverage because, like I said, there's plenty of room to go. So now let's do the measured move essentially, because we got to get it back on log though, because that's all it was. So this was what we were looking at as far as our measured move and the reason why we are done, or targets have been hit. Let's go with this thing here. So this is your swing high, comes down, cements a low here, goes up, tests the 2022 yearly opening range, making a new yearly high, and then rejecting down to targets. That's a perfect measured move. So hence the reason why we are closing short positions. Measured moves don't always work in the market. The market is very chaotic. We know this, but they do work quite often. All right, so I'm sure I am not going to be the only one closing short positions based on the measured move alone. I am sure there are many more doing the same thing today. All right, so that's the game plan on Bitcoin for the next day or two. We're going to wait, see what's going on. The dollar is breaking out again. Of course it is. That's what we were looking for. USD JPY, not. So it looks like we are getting some yen strength today. That's good. Finally, the yen has found a near-term bottom. All right. So let's go over here and see what happened. We were looking for a short on this asset yesterday. Obviously, it didn't work until, the end of the day after it stopped everybody out. This was the area of which we were looking to take the short. Come on, right? That's probably where we should have been looking to get long. Get short in hindsight, not here. We were looking at a daily resistance level. We were looking at a daily test, hourly resistance. That was the entry. Stopped out. That was a trap. Boom, boom. So 10 o'clock, that's when that happened. 10 o'clock, guys. So it seems like a lot of these things are setting up a little bit later in the day. So we'll need to be aware of that. We were short. Obviously, order flow's low, going lower. We can see that. We don't need tape to tell us. We can see order flow direction. So we knew we were looking to sell a swing high. The swing high we sold was just a little bit too low. And that happens. That's trading. That is trading. Let's go to the daily, and I'll show you exactly what we were looking at. We were looking at the previous day's close. Go back to intraday. This is our daily level. And when we pushed lower yesterday, made a new low of day, then we came into for this bounce. I was looking at this resistance level to hold right there. So that was the original entry position. And you can see that, the stop just got smoked right away. There wasn't nothing you could do on that. That's just trading, right? These stop candles happen to everybody, not just you. It happens to me too. All right. But that's typically what we want to look to do is sell swing highs. So our directional bias was correct. Our market timing was off by 1 hour. 1 hour. What screwed us was this freaking close right here, because it closed under the daily. All right, that's what screwed us. Remember, I say always wait for those closures before taking that entry. We waited on the close. It closed below. It looked like it was going to be a good entry. We got one more bullish rip your face off, smoke everybody's stops, but it still stayed at the next area of resistance, which would have been there. I mean, yep. I wouldn't have taken that short because it was just way too far away from the daily level. So that's what happened there. That was just a smooth move on the market to do that. Take me out of the game right away. And everything is bearish. I mean, there's nothing to do. Let's go look at USD CAD, as there was kind of a setup on this the other day where we were looking for this to continue higher, more so for CAD weakness than for dollar strength, but it looks like it's the exact opposite of what I was expecting. CAD weakness and dollar strength, this thing is moving higher. Nothing to do. You're at the high of day. No trade. No trade. I don't see many. Most everything is getting absolutely slaughtered. Aussie yen is off 1.9%. So let's go look at the yen currency futures. Yep, it is getting a daily bounce. You are into daily resistance. However, I would look for this to maybe continue, as this thing hasn't gotten a nice, multiple day bounce for a while. So maybe look to short, like say Aussie yen, if you get a pullback. Not today. Today you are already off 2%. Please do not try to get short on a forex pair that has already moved 2% on the day. This is starting to get very volatile, guys. Very volatile. So we gotta be more, careful on what we look to do. Excuse me, the Red Bull has got me burping again. Here's daily support on the SPX. No new shorts, not down here, please, because you're into support. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly. Yeah, that's close to weekly support as well. So you got weekly support here. All right. You are just barely under it. So maybe you get a bounce here. Another perfect measured move to the downside on the SPX. On this push higher, this is where we originally shorted Bitcoin. Well, not originally, but on this last move. You can see that it also offered up a perfect shorting opportunity on the SPX too. This bullish pop right here. That's where we got short. We were long going into it. Then we got short coming out of it. And it was all based on one price. And that one price was the yearly opening. All right. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. There's nothing more to say. Everything's crashing. Let's see what oil looks like. Let's get off of that. Oh, come on. Oil on the daily getting a small pop. This is still in an uptrend. I think one could say. Yeah, I mean, technically it is. It's in an area that, the higher probabilities start to fall right out the window. Simply because you are back above your 50 on the RSI. So typically I would be looking for bullish entries on this. And as you can see right now on oil, you have tested the daily Heath level there, which is also just demand. So when I say Heath level for you new people, it's supply and demand. We just called it a Heath level for whatever reason. So there is your daily demand zone on oil. This little baby right here came down and tested it absolutely perfectly. It is also hourly support. That was the opportunity to get long if this is going to continue higher. It is still very early in the day, so there may still yet be an opportunity on oil. So now what you're watching for is this 103.63. You do not want to see an hourly close back below it because that will be your signal essentially. But a retest of it, as long as you're closing hourlies above it, it might find support and go higher. Target daily high. All right. The daily high is your target. But it more than likely has already played out. The last couple days have been pretty bearish. Yesterday put in a bullish engulfing And since you are at the area, you are on the chart, on the oscillator, on the moving average, it does look like it is a potential trade setup. So just please make sure you're only risking 1% on these setups because you can lose. I get stopped out still. Everybody does. That's part of trading. So please make sure you are not taking more than 1%. And as far as crypto's concerned, AXS is up 17% on the day. So maybe we look to take, a near-term scalp trade on this a little bit later. We'll see. It's could be near the bottom. If Bitcoin bounces from where it is, I don't like taking a short this far. It's so stretched out to the downside. You are printing bullish divergence on the daily. To be fair, boom, boom. See that? Lower low on price, higher low on the oscillator. So that's probably why you're seeing this bounce today based on that divergence. If you think it's going to last for a couple days, then you will have a support to base bullish trades on. That price is going to be 1960. 1960 if you're looking for longs on AXS. Right there. So not today. Tomorrow, look for a retest of this level. It'll be easy to find. 1960. It's daily support. If you come back in for a retest of this tomorrow and it holds, then you may be looking for this kind of move, right? Higher high, higher low on the near term. And your target will be always the same target, which I am a day trader, so we only target daily highs, daily lows. Then we exit 2/3 of the position. We move our stops to break even. Excuse me real quick. My phone is going crazy. And I'm back. Sorry about that. My phone is going crazy. I'm so tired this morning and not want to get out of bed. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. Wait, 1 second. Let's look if we got any more outliers on the chart. No, everything is brutally red. I mean, multiple things. Mirrors down 31%. A lot of things are down double digits, guys. This is yeah. Typically, nobody knows how long the bear market is going to last, but typically, when your favorite shitcoin has fallen 80-90%, maybe then you can start to add some of that to your portfolio. But that's a long-term buy. You're only looking for the hodl. You're not looking to trade it or use leverage or anything. You just want to put a few of those into your wallets or whatnot. Then typically you want to do it when there's blood in the streets. But finding a bottom is the best way, in my opinion. Let price work out that bottom, the near-term lows. I'm following some macro guys. Like I said, they think this is just getting started. So be very, very careful. Very, very careful. I can't stress that enough. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good mornings, good mornings. Tons of good mornings this morning. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time. Always keeping us on the right side. You are welcome, my friend. G, thank you so much, my friend. I was never tempted by the gap. I had a hunch of volume expansion or volatility expansion. Not sure. Your word is just VOL, so maybe volatility. What is your thoughts on the market if BTC breaks last cycle all-time high? My thoughts will be simple. We're in a bear market, so anything is possible in a bear market. It's never happened in Bitcoin's history. So let me go get the BLX. It's never happened in Bitcoin's history. Now, people are going to say, yes, it did happen once over here, but this was not your cycle top. This was, right? If you want to call this a cycle top, I guess one could, but it doesn't line up with the other cycle models, basically the top being real close to the end of the year. That's typically when your tops have been formed, at the end or the beginning of a new year. This was in April, so nobody really looks at this as the top. So since this is considered the cycle peak, you did not take out old all-time high, which is down here. You never even come close. Now, if you use this as your cycle peak, then you did on this test here. But you can do that all the way up the chart. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Every time a cycle peak has been cemented, then a bear market ensued. You never went back and retested that. And so here's ours, all right? Unfortunately, the yearly support is at 13.8. But, we'll see what happens. If that is to occur, then it will be the first time ever in Bitcoin's history. I don't think that necessarily means anything, problematic or catastrophic. I think it just, price is price. Price is going to do what price does. If everybody starts to sell out of their positions, it will. It will go lower. That's the way this works. But you got a lot of Bitcoin fundamentalists out there. You have a lot of maximalists that will never sell their Bitcoins, no matter if it drops 90%, because they believe in this asset. I do too. I absolutely do too. I think this thing will be worth millions of dollars in the future. But, 15, 20 years from now. As of right now, it is a very highly speculative vehicle. People are trading it for speculation gains. That is why it moves with the SPX, NASDAQ. It's because people are treating it as the same thing. Once Bitcoin decides to be what it was designed to be, and that is an inflation hedge, then it will move similar to gold, right? Then a lot more people will start to buy it and hold it as a flight to safety. Typically, that also means, though, you won't get these highly speculative bull pushes when everything is nice and bullish. Bitcoin will be on the lows, right? Because risk off means exactly that. You get sold into while the risk is on, and when it becomes a bear market, then your risk off asset goes higher. But everything changes in the markets, people, right? Everything changes. The Japanese yen used to be that flight to safety, that vehicle, if you will. And it has not been, because we've been in a bear market since basically November, October, at least all of January 2022. We've been in a bear market, one could say. And this thing's been getting crushed right alongside everything else. But this is because of Japan's monetary policy. That is why this is getting hammered. Has everything to do with monetary policy. But it used to be a flight to safety. I don't see... This is the Swiss franc. Yeah, same thing. Used to be flight to safety. Used to be risk off. Getting absolutely hammered. Right? So market conditions change. Assets change. Valuations change. I mean, investors drive price. So whatever investors are looking to get into for safety, that's the asset that's going to be skyrocketing. We are looking for gold to go lower, because there's no alpha to be generated in gold currently. We were looking for gold to go lower once we put in a blow off top here. We were pushing higher. I was expecting it to find resistance there and then roll over. It didn't. It took 4 more days before it finally fell down. And it's been a one-sided trade ever since. Down, lower. People are exiting gold because there is no alpha to generate. Holding it long, essentially. But yeah, I mean, if it does that, Phil, it's not going to be catastrophic, but we will keep that in mind. I will start to be a buyer once the RVZ score gets down into the undervalued regions. I will start to add more to my spot account. Plus, the way I'm trading Bitcoin, for anybody that's new, is on an inverse swap contract. So I am using Bitcoin to trade the inverse swap contract. Anytime that I make a good call on a trade or whatnot, I get paid in Bitcoin. If I lose the trade, then I lose Bitcoin. That is just essentially a way for me to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible without generating a ton of taxes. Because where I live, I can do that. Not everybody can, so just check with your tax guy before you start doing that. But it also allows me to generate more Bitcoin, right? Because I'm paid in Bitcoin. So essentially my spot account has been dormant since the bear market started. And this account, the inverse swap contract, has 4x, 5x. So we're closer to 4x at this point. But I'm looking for that fifth. That's why I'm trading it like that, just to accumulate more Bitcoin. Because like I said, I think Bitcoin will be worth a lot more money in the future. A lot more. So I want as many coins as I can get my hand on. And the cheaper I can get them, the better. Have we seen capitulation day yet? Like before? Not yet. That capitulation will run that MVRV Z-score down into undervalued. Once you get that, then you're going to be capitulated, essentially. As far as the size of the candle, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty big down day. You're down 6% on the day. Down 6% on the day. That's a pretty good sized candle. This one was bigger. That was kind of like a capitulation, but I mean, you're getting close, probably getting really close to that capitulation. There's some more metrics that I need to run. Like I said, I just woke up and started the stream, so I was very unprepared. But that's all right, because we're price traders anyways. We haven't seen, okay, got that 20,000 Bitcoin, my target. It's possible, my friend. It is possible. I stopped out break even yet another falling knife trade. Stop doing that, Wes. I will bend you over my knee and spank your bottom. Stop it. What's the matter with you? You know the definition of insanity is, correct? Just messing with you, bro. Gonna lose another $30? Yeah, possibly. He was just kidding, peoples of the chat. Luna was down 96% yesterday, and now 97% today. I was thinking it was down like 99.4% yesterday from all-time highs. Let's go see it. We can go look real quick. But you gotta take it from all-time highs. Or you're talking about just yesterday. Got you. Yes, on the daily. It's down 98% today alone. Was down, like you said, yesterday, 97%. All in all, I mean, and it can keep falling 99 percentiles, you know what I mean, day after day after day until it gets to that zero spot. A lot of people are asking me if this can go under zero, and my answer to you is oil futures did. Oil futures went to negative 41 cents below zero. So, I mean, technically it shouldn't be able to happen. Zero is zero. But that's momentum. That's how price works. So maybe it stops at zero. That's rock bottom for this thing. And then there's just no more trading on it. Who knows what's going to happen. But it's done. As far as I'm concerned, you're at 2 cents. I mean, you don't got much further to go. But you can still be down another 90% again tomorrow and be at 1 cent. But all-time high to swing low, you're down 99.98%. Woo! Almost 100%. It's brutal, guys. These vehicles are extremely speculative. You've got to make sure your downside risk is mitigated at all times. You do not know what's going to happen. Neither does anybody. And the FOMO, the bullish price action makes people think that it's going to go up forever and ever and ever. And then reality strikes. Now, this was a catastrophic failure of the code. That's why it's failing. So, yeah, I mean, I guess something similar could happen to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not, it's different, right? We'll see what happens. I don't think it will ever do that, but we'll see. They're all shit coins. Run DMC, good to see you guys. What's up, Jeremy? Alan P, killing it as ever. Heath, great analysis. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Heath, so many mega YouTube, Twitter accounts either didn't know what they were doing or are using their followers for exit liquidity. So I appreciate you being the real one. Yeah, I'm a trader. I do it day to day. I have no problems with telling people what I think's going to happen. Am I always right? No. It would be nice if I was, but reality, I am not right all the time. I'm right a lot, but not all the time. Hello, Bitcoin, the ideal buy for every month for the long term. It's getting there. It definitely is getting there. Bitcoin is looking more and more attractive to me as starting to put some more on, but we'll see what happens. Can I see Luna putting in a liquidation bounce at 2 cents? No. That's what I was looking for to happen yesterday, essentially, at 75 or 75 cents, looking for that dead cat bounce. And we did get one, but it was so short-lived. That means basically everybody has cut tail and run. I don't know if the founders were holding a big pile of Luna, but typically that is what happens to these crypto coins. They get speculated on, the price gets driven up, then the founder, decides to take a vacation to Tahiti and dump his whole entire position onto the market. Then the cascading liquidations to the downside start happening, and it starts a massive push lower until you get to zero. So yeah, and in this case, the SEC can't do anything about it. They can't look into it. They can't. If you lost money in Luna, it's just gone. It's just gone. There's nothing can be done about it, unfortunately. But there's good news. You can learn how to do this profitably. You just got to do it. You got to follow the rules. Can you? No, read that? No, I don't. I think it's done, Jim. I think it's done, my friend. In fairness to Brandon, I like his approach, but at trying to buy off supports during a bear market, not waiting for bank. Listen, nobody thought that it was a bear market, and they had legitimate reasons why not to, right? Legitimate reasons. But we did. We knew what was going on because the Fed. I've been completely 100% honest with everybody. The Fed is who you follow. If they are bullish, then you get bullish. If they're bearish, you get bearish. They had to stop inflation. So they had to stop the bullish monetary policy. And when that occurs, I mean, you just got to get short. The Fed warned everybody. Next time the Fed warns people, they'll listen. We just already knew to listen. I feel like this is all because of Biden being in office, just like gas. To be honest, Zach, it's got everything to do with cyclical markets, right? We have seen nothing but constant bull markets forever and ever and ever. Maybe not in the crypto sphere, but I mean, SPX is since '08, you have been nothing but bullish. We had a slight hiccup in, March 2020, pandemic. There's that, but the Fed steps in, and it's been absolutely bullish all the way to the top. So, I mean, this is cyclical. It's normal market behavior. We will, it's not the end of the world. The sky is not falling. Joe Biden is not going to kill us all. It's just normal cyclical markets. The Fed has to stop inflation. They have to. That is their number one goal. They will crash a market or two to do it. Yes, they will. Absolutely. You got to break some eggs to make some omelets. So yeah, they will. But if the CPI print starts trending lower, then they'll know that they have, they have done a little bit too slow inflation's roll. Macro guys think that it's not even here yet, but we'll see. Unfortunately, I go by what they say. If they start being dovish, we will absolutely we'll go right back to that long trade. But we need the Fed to tell us what to do next. And they will. They have been since '08. The Fed has been telling everybody what to do since 2008. There's no reason for them to stop now. Did Tether unpeg? I don't know. I don't know Tether's ticker. What is it's? I know it's USDT, but like versus what? Just USDT on CryptoCap. That's not it. It's just the bear market. That's not it anyways. I don't know. Someone give me ticker for USDT. Tether versus USD, Binance US right here. Yeah, it's just a bear market. That's all. I mean, this thing spikes. Look at these spikes. Look at that spike. I mean, that made it all the way up to $1.50. Nah, man, don't worry about it yet. I mean, obviously, Tether can crash because Tether has got some shady business deals going on. Just kidding. That's just my humble opinion. I probably shouldn't say that. Let's just say they won't let us look at their books. How about that? We'll say that and we'll leave it at that. Tether will not let us look at their books. So can what happened to Tether or happened to Luna happen to Tether? I think it's less likely because Tether is actually using dollars to back it, right? Or they're supposed to be having 1-to-1 reserves of USDT versus, or USD versus USDT minted. So we'll see. But a bear market is here. This is people unloading. People are probably scared. If Tether crashes, if Tether goes, then the crypto market, will be over. They have propped up all of your massive assets. Tether is the biggest holder of most of them. So we can only hope that it doesn't. I hold a very large amount of Tether myself, so that way I can trade. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't. That's all I can say. It's definitely getting down there. It got a nice little low stab, but I think it'll get bought back up. $8 support, minus $8 support. Nah, don't see that. What do you think of Luna hodlers at the moment? Martincio. I feel sorry for them. I really, really, really do. My heart goes out for them because a lot of people had a lot of money inside of that thing. A lot of people. A lot of money was lost yesterday and today. Still being lost. My heart goes out for them, but at the same time, this is trading, right? Crypto has been the Wild West since we've had it. We all love it when it's going up. We absolutely hate it when it liquidates us, right? I mean, that's everybody. If you've been trading crypto long enough, you probably have had an account or two get liquidated. I mean, I have. I have a position getting liquidated right now as we speak on Luna. That's no leverage, but still, I didn't want to lose the money. I wanted to, 10x it. But it happens. But I do, my heart goes out to them. I hope no one does anything stupid or thinks that this is the end because they lost money. Money can be made. You can make the money back. You can make it back. You know what I mean? A lot of people, though, man, I seen a thread yesterday on Reddit that guys like, I lost $450,000. The end is near for me, or the end is the only way out. I do not like to see that. But is it possible that it's going to happen to a few people? Yeah, it is. The markets have caused suicides before. I feel sorry for them. I hope they get the help they need. It's a simple fix, guys. It's a stop loss. That's it. That's how you do this. You put in a stop loss. At $86, I want out, right? Then you would have lost all your bullish gains, but your account would still be whole. You would have lost however many percents. We look to only lose 1 to 5% on an investment, 5% on a trade, 1%. That's max. That is max. That's what you risk. That's max. 5% is max. And you put a stop in, a hard stop, a trailing stop even. This way, if something catastrophic does happen to your investment vehicle, you get out with a profit. Use stops. They're better than condoms. You know what I mean? Use them as far as safety goes. They don't feel good, but as far as safety goes, you gotta have them. BT tapped to 200 EMA and is nearly in oversold territory on the weekly. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and typically we looked into the past on Tuesday's live stream, and we come to the conclusion that the 200 simple, the 200 EMA, both pretty nice things to look to be a buyer in on the weekly time frame. Right? Nice place to buy there. Bear market low. Boom. Nice place to buy there. You went lower, but you closed, right? It was a tradable event here. We were trading during this. Nice place to buy. But in both of these scenarios, also, they were very close to one another. This big bullish push, this massive expansion to the upside caused them to stretch out a little bit. But yeah, you are hitting the 200 exponential moving average right now as we speak. Right now as we speak. Let's go back to BLX and see what it does or says. Yeah, I mean, its entire history since the 200 was able to populate itself on the chart, it has been a decent place to buy. Here's where you took out the 200 EMA, but the 200 simple caught up right? So maybe wait for the same scenario here. If this breaks down and gets below the 200 EMA, let the 200 simple catch up. That just might mark the end of the bear market. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah. It's looking like it's getting ready to be time to buy this stuff, guys. Sorry if I missed your questions. There's a lot of you in here and quite a bit of comments to go through. So if I did miss your just make sure you leave me a question in the comment section after YouTube posts the video to the channel, and I will answer you. How much different spot prices have been compared to USDT on Bitcoin? Oh, crazy! How much different? Yeah, it is. Bitcoin offers up, still that edge is still in the market. And that's how a lot of firms make money. They are spot arbitraging it, and there is differences across different exchanges. And the more volatile it gets, the bigger those changes are. So yeah, this is when they're making the most money, is during this time. Not because they're liquidating you, simply because their edge, which is arbitraging the different exchange money or the different amounts on different exchanges, that's their edge. This is when they make the most money, when that edge gets bigger. And right now it's pretty big. It's market wide. All risk assets are getting pummeled right now. Just woke up. Did Tether unpeg? No, it did not. It did spike to the downside, but it is rebounding. I feel like this is all okay. I read that. How much lower do you think Bitcoin will drop? Well, we have two technical things. One is, they are very, very much like extreme lows. Is, back down to the last all-time high we had, to fill that bottom gap at 18,000. And then there's also yearly support at 13.5, something like that. But those both are very extreme cases, very extreme lows. I tell you one thing, if Bitcoin does make it to $13,000, I will be buying hand over fist there. Hand over fist. In reality, now that everybody is bearish, now that all of your permabulls on Twitter are starting to see, the bear market is here, it's probably time to start looking to be a buyer, to be honest with you. The problem with that is the Fed hasn't changed their plan at all. In fact, the next FOMC, we're looking for another 50-point basis hike, right? Another 50-point, just like we got the other day. We're going to be looking for the same thing on the next meeting. So unless they come out, unless they have an emergency press conference before the FOMC happens and says we're going to stop raising interest rates for a minute, let these things basically, then you start looking to be a buyer. Until that happens, I'd say just let it keep doing what it's going to do. And more than likely, it's going to go lower for a little while. Once again, if you are only buying spot, no leverage, and you're only doing it with an amount of money you do not mind losing, I think it's safe to start purchasing little pieces here. I do. And if it does get down to 19 or 18, you can buy more there in dollar cost average. Just make sure you're doing it within a responsible amount of money. Responsible. So that way, if Bitcoin's code does get catastrophically hacked or something and it goes to zero, you only lose that money and not your life savings. I don't think Bitcoin will do that, but nobody thought Luna was going to do that either 3 days ago, all right? Or 4 days ago, or whenever it started. That thing was the most bullish asset inside of the crypto sphere, was Luna. It was still playing around with its 2022 open. So it was green on the year. That's pretty much the only asset that is. I have them marked out over here, all of your crypto assets, or not all of them. I have a couple in here that were not, but all of these assets were green on the year. Were. I say that as in past tense, because now they are not. This was green on the year over here, right? Not anymore. Doge never was. It was just playing with its yearly opening range, but it wasn't actually trading above it. It did one day, but This is when we were looking for shorts on Doge. Remember this? Boom. Now this big day happened when I guess Elon bought Twitter, caused Doge to do this, stopped everybody out from this original entry. Unfortunately, that sucks because now we're getting that move. Ethereum Classic was well above its yearly opening range, absolutely crushed. And I aptly named this watch list Alts with Meat on the Bone, too short, because they were all up on the year, right? These were the plays that we were focusing on simply because they were bullish on the year. I am still holding this short position, and I took, for you new people out there, we, not just me, we, my community, took this short here at 278.67. And look at that baby now, off of over $100 and something, man. Simply because we know that these things follow Bitcoin. This run up above its yearly opening range was a shorting opportunity. And there it is. Boom. Luna, the most bullish asset on the year. Here's your yearly opening range. This thing was just not too long ago. April 21st, April 22nd, 24th, April. You're trading above your yearly opening range. So that's why I had this watch list coupled together so that way we could make some money on these moves. But it's here now. So now everything's crushed. Everything's back under. I don't trade XRP, but it's back under as well. I mean, everything is red on the year. It's a bloodbath. Absolute bloodbath. Near, down, waves. Waves was uber bullish not too long ago. Boom. Shorting opportunity. We've been all over this. We've been all over this bear market. Just crushing it. Can I analyze Tesla? Yeah, I will, and then I'm going to have to wrap it up. It's getting a little bit late, and I definitely want to find something to trade on the forex side. So let's look at Tesla, and we'll wrap it up. All right, Tesla's red. Well, no, we knew it was going to be, right? Everything is falling right now. Nice move here to get short. Big bullish day. Follow with an engulfing. SPX, these things are going to follow SPX, or SPX follows these things. These things make up that index. So if they're coming off, everything's coming off. Everything. Let's go over here real quick and just give us a quick skim. Is it a place to buy? It was, but you just blasted down through support. So no. Next area of potential support is down here at 730, 17. Just watch it. Don't buy it. Just watch it. Because if the bear market's just getting started, then a lot of these things are going to come off a lot more. Netflix just absolutely spanked. Absolutely spanked. They can't get their shit together. Almost 80% off. Yeah, I mean, risk assets, I'm not buying anything right now. When I start buying, I will let you guys know. Y'all have a fantastic day. If you have any questions or if I didn't cover something, then just drop it down in the comment section after YouTube posts this video, which should be as soon as I exit the live stream. It should be ready, and I will answer them. I try to answer every question. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.